Right, let's hope that now works, which should be fun. Right, because of the long gap, I can remember most what happened. I think Rebecca started with the first ones. Becky started with the first ones, as in the visions she had. I think you also started when you woke up in the morning. That was it. Marcus had disappeared. Basically, during the night, or just before you started, Marcus had wandered off into the night, so you'd lost Marcus. He was doing
sure if he's gone of his own accord and chickened, or if something bad has happened to him.
Yes, that's the thing. Yeah,
we have no way of finding out.
No, I remember rightly you were staying at a hotel because the club was getting a bit hot, considering the nasty creatures that sort of appeared from nowhere.
Right.
Yeah, the night before, as in the sulphur and the thing that looked like a cuttlefish with the eyes, very cold eyes, sort of there. So as you were returning back to the club, someone, as he said, stepped out of the shadows. Basically, asked you about what the policeman was asking. I don't think you gave them a lot, to be fair. You were all very evasive about what was there, and I think Speeder recognised the ornate gold cross, jewelled cross he had round his neck.
Yeah. I've got La Sombra or Anti-Tribune written down.
Yeah. That's
Stefan Lenoir.
Stefan Lenoir.
Yeah, I have that written down too.
Stefan Lenoir. I think he don't think he gave you a proper. No, I think he went by the name. He also goes by the name Leo. Then you wandered off to the club. If I remember rightly, you made a. Sir Henry had made you an offer. He's saying after you talked to him that he would take you to the country house, and you accepted, on the grounds that the club was a bit too, hairy at the moment. You did not feel safe, and he basically, you have a nice journey out to the club, out to his country house, which is I think in the countryside. To be fair, when he drives out there, he makes sure that the journey is, circumventive. It takes you a long time to travel to it, because the driver was making sure that no one was following him. During which Sabrina had another vision. That's right, with the...
Yeah, that was a bit awkward to explain.
Yeah, the darkness arises all over the house. Yeah, two yellow eyes stare out of darkness and says one word, ours. That was that darkness covered the club. As if someone was claiming ownership over the club itself.
Yeah, mist rising from the ground to the roof.
That's it.
And yellow cuttlefish eyes again.
And says
a rasping evil voice that says ours.
And you had a word when you get to the mansion. You had a nice word with Sir Henry King. I think he basically said he's from the north somewhere. He has met both Mikhail and Theodore in London. He assumes that. He assumed that they both were members of the Toreador. They were both based in Paris. He knows that the two of both Theodore and Mikhail are not liked by the Camarilla for some reason. He doesn't trust Jason Dunbar. And he basically asked you about your connections to, was it Theodore? And he asked you about what happened in Berlin, if I remember rightly. I don't think you told him a lot at that point. And you,
well, no, I think we were feeling distinctly paranoid by that point.
oh
so,
yes.
You know.
It's not, was it, doing this. You get a message. You will get a message halfway through the night that the club had some visitors. If I remember rightly, a certain sheriff of London, along with a posse, had come. Was it had come to the club in search of yourselves. Apparently, they were a little disappointed at the fact they didn't find you. So the prince is now taking some interest in you.
That's scary.
Yes, that's bad. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, you. But at the house, when you arrive there, you also get a distinct thing that you have another guest in the house, but you're not allowed to go anywhere near them. The butler said if you want anything, e.g. feeding and that, they'll find someone for you. He seems to be fully compos mentis with what you are, so he's not surprised. And you sort of settle in, and Odie and co doing their usual wandering around, and they ask you to follow them to a balcony above the hall. And a balcony above the front hall, from where you can listen to what was happening in the hall. Of which you actually witness a discussion between, if I remember rightly, Mikhail and Sir Henry, which basically goes down the lines that Sir Henry said their master's a little bound off at the fact that they've drawn yourselves into the was it fray, and they managed to draw in a Assamite. Mikhail's was it saying, oh, let's go and kill them, and Sir Henry says, and you're going to kill an Assamite, basically saying, are you really that's
you that mad?
That mad, yeah. The conclusion of the conversation is that Sir Henry said the master has told both Theodore and Mikhail to leave London and leave the club and disappear in Europe once again. You gather that Theodore had never gone to, Montreal in the first place, and never intended to go to Montreal in the first place. You were basically going to be dropped there and played and left there with no help at all, is what you gather. At this point, to emphasise the point, the voice of you hear another voice, slightly strange voice, basically in a very huffed way, like as if someone's possessed, basically reiterating what Sir Henry said, saying that Mikhail, you'll do as you're told, or you'll get punished. And Mikhail, I think, stays through the evening, but he's not allowed to talk to you guys. And he sort of skulks off into another part of the house. And I think later in the night you have another. Do you have another vision? You do, don't you? Yes, you have another vision, if I remember rightly, Sabrina. It goes along the fine. You find yourself lit by a cave with torches. In the middle of the cave, there's 3 robed figures, each. Yeah, in discussion. You can't quite hear what they say. As she observes them, one has an ornate crucifix, but unlike the other crucifix, is actually hung upside down. And one figure will turn the look directly at yourself, and everything goes black again. And I think after the visit of, let's have a look. I think that's the end of that evening. Oh no, it isn't. Yes, that was the end of the evening. After which point you stay one night through there. You get no more visions that day. So I'm losing where I am. That's why I'm ahead of myself. Yep. Right, yes. You wake up and you are... I think you have the vision the next day. The dark figures, sorry. Yeah, as in you get up, you have the vision at the start of the day.
Yeah, next morning.
Morning. Or even next dusk. And you actually go down to see Sir Henry in the drawing room, of which he has a very frank discussion with you. He talks about apologising for both, Mikhail and Theodore's games they played with you, saying that his masters are very displeased about their games. He does not tell you who his masters are. If anything, he avoids answering the question.
Yeah.
Basically, at that point, you tell him about what happened in the a club in London? The seeing of the figure or the strange creature, of which he says, I think if you help him, he will help you. So he just wants you to go back to the club and find out what's going on there. What this figure is. And I think it implies he is not a member of the Camula. So his masters are something else, which you seem to hear a lot of at the moment. Everybody seems to have mysterious masters, even Mr. Dunbar. Yeah.
I mean, maybe it's all just the same person.
You never know. And then, guess who appears on the doorstep?
The
policeman.
DCI agent.
Yeah, the DCI appears, has a question. I don't think you don't know, you're not au fait to what's actually happening during the discussion. And once again, I think you watch from the balcony what's going on, and you were at a point of deciding what you were going to do next, because it was midnight. And you were back in your rooms deciding, do you or don't you want to go back to, the club? I think you decided it might be a good idea, just to find out once and for all what was actually happening.
Yeah.
Because yes, we haven't seen anything nasty here, and you've generally witnessed a lot of things, and Sir Henry is not quite what he seems either. Plus, you want to get down to why the sheriff is now all of a sudden very interested in you.
Right.
So, what do you guys, now it's midnight, you're in your rooms, what are you going to do?
So we haven't left Sir Henry's yet.
The last event you had was the visitor. It's near enough after midnight, so you couldn't probably make London in time to, you couldn't make London quick enough before dawn.
Right.
Plus, if you are going back, they would have to make arrangements by now to get that sorted. You can't just arrive unannounced. If they've got nowhere for you, you could be in a bit of trouble. Plus, you have no transport to get there, and you are some distance away south of London. And you don't know quite how far south of London either, because the route was that circumventive.
Right.
So, what are you pair going to do, other than panic?
I have half a mind to catch up with your two boys there.
Yeah.
They went into the they went into the town to hit the pub, I think, and that could be a good opportunity to confer in private and maybe do some hunting if we need to.
You're actually in the middle of nowhere. You literally, if you look out of your thing, you're actually a proper country mansion. It's dark outside.
There's
nothing.
I thought they said they were going. I thought they said they were nipping off to the pub. But they.
No. Those Dirk and Co. I think were more knew where they are. They were sort of staying where they were. The nearest.
It means Odie and Ivan, I think.
Oh, they're generally. Them pair. They're generally wandering around the house.
Oh,
okay.
right.
Yeah, they.
All right.
You don't overly see them a lot because they are doing what they do very well, and they seem to be keeping a very good, look at the house at the moment. Hence why they discovered what was going on. Hence why they knew they had the visitor. And they're generally watching your back at the moment.
Right.
You are in the strange. You are in a strange house.
Well, I don't know. How Sabine? How knowledgeable are you in occult matters? if I may ask.
Oh, not really. I mean.
All right.
I don't think anybody is.
I
don't think anybody is.
Please hold while I check my character sheet.
Yeah, I'm just checking everybody else. I'm checking everybody else's to see if anybody else has a cult.
I have
No.
I'm barely.
Mr. Campbell doesn't have it, and I don't think Mr. Voight has it either.
Wow, do I have more than everybody else?
Yeah. No, Mr. Voight here was... Dirk is usually more interested in the more esoterical stuff. Occult is just something else that other people do as far as he's concerned.
Oh, man.
He's probably getting a little pissed at the moment, knowing him, thinking who he can go and hit round the head until they cooperate. He has done that before.
Oh, I'm better at occult than I thought I was. I have 3 dots in it.
Oh shit! Okay. Oh, good. All right.
It's very obscure.
Gosh, the only thing. Oh, go ahead.
Go on. Whatever it is, it's obscure. You haven't seen anything that's been occultish per se yet.
All right.
The only thing.
Yeah, I guess that's. Oh no, go ahead.
I think the only thing you've seen is the figure, the one you gave back.
Oh.
The upside down cross and the
Yeah. That's obvious.
thing, which is
Okay.
Yeah. Actually.
I guess that was my that was going to be my suggestion or question, is if there's anything that we've seen, in the house so far that has any significance.
If
I
any,
mean, to me as me rather than me as Suki, it's got a whole distinctly Cthulhu vibe to it.
Right.
But I don't think Suki would know that.
no, Suki would. The cross upside down is, as far as occult, is always what you think it is.
Right.
It is. Was it Satanism, and that's fairly standard.
Yeah.
But that's
Right.
But that's more something that.
It's infernalist.
Yeah, or something that so-called mortal was it occultist would do. It's that sort of symbol.
Right.
It is that sort of symbolism.
So it's kind of infernalist, but not really authentic. It's
That's to be fair with the cross.
Disneyland infernalist.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We're talking Mr. Crowley for infernalist, as in the only thing. So the only obvious one was the thing you had in your hand was that malformed figure. Or was it only one?
Oh, right.
With the triangle at the bottom. It's like a... it's like a triangle. That was actually on the bottom, and that's the nearest thing. The strangest thing is, if these are infernus, you're finding nothing in the house that implies that. This house, if anything, is... And the same with the club. If anything, it's they're very devoid of that imagery. That was only that statue you found. And this house, if you ask Odin Co, that it's very devoid of anything like that. If anything, though, it's also devoid of anything religious.
Okay.
As in,
which would be unusual for a house of this age.
Yes.
Yeah. That's.
It's neutral. It's as if it's sanitized. The same. The club was much the same. The pictures on the wall were of clubs, and there were no. If you'd open the drawers, there were no Bibles anywhere.
Right.
So these
that sort of tracks. Yeah, I wasn't expecting anything obvious, and I would almost expect something misleading if there was anything obvious lying around. So okay,
no religious.
Yeah, I was most. Oh no, go ahead.
It has no religious imagery in it. Both of them don't.
Okay.
This house. Go on.
Strange question.
Yeah.
Really big country houses, if the family are really wealthy, have their own chapel attached to them.
Yeah. If they're what?
Is there a chapel? It's a separate building in the garden or something.
Yeah, there seems to be a chapel there.
I think we've been looking in the wrong place.
You can have
go
go.
visit.
We could try.
No one's actually. They're not particularly paying much attention to you, to be really fair. And it's not surprising why. It's not surprising why, if you think about it.
Right.
So you can walk.
Let's go take a discreet visit.
Yep.
I don't want to be skulking in the shadows, but maybe taking a circuitous route. Walking the grounds and maybe coming at it from a different angle so that it's not obvious that we're going to check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going for a wander and then happen to wander past the chapel.
After a little while, you'll find there is a chapel there. It's fairly, it's a fairly, bog standard, fairly small, chapel. The door's actually locked.
Shame.
With a very big keyhole in it. Very heavy.
If my character pick a lock, I can hotwire a car.
I have some security myself.
You could try it. If you've got what sort of tools you're going to use.
Does our friendly neighbourhood Asimite have anything like that?
He might do for you, yep. Fairly heavy. You'll need something fairly heavy duty. But these are very primitive locks.
Yeah.
So if you make a dex and security roll, Mr. Donovan.
Alrighty.
And I remember rightly now it's /R and the rest now, isn't it?
Oh, it's now /R.
Yeah, they've changed it. They've changed it now, haven't they? And then the exclamation mark.
Then exclamation mark. Okay.
Yeah, let me have a look. See, just let me do /R. Yeah, it is /R and then the command. That's right. They've changed it again.
Oh no. It did not. Didn't do anything.
You
maybe
just
a /R and then
the /R /R space, then exclamation mark, the number of dice.
and then D.
Yeah.
D10.
Yeah.
I thought that's what I did.
What's your number of dice you got?
4. Yeah.
4.
Total, and not great.
D10. I'll do it for you. S, and see if I can get it to work. Come on.
Or maybe without the exclamation point now, because that's. Let's see.
Got it.
There we go.
It's done it.
Oh dang! I did pretty well.
Yeah. With the tools, it is a very, very primitive. It is a very primitive lock. If anything, it's more awkward than hard. After a lot of sort of messing around, it finally goes click.
Maybe you have to squeeze a little bit, my potence into into turning the key.
Yeah. Yeah. The lock on the chapel. Yep, and it's sort of. Do you open the door? How do you try to open it quietly?
I try to. Yeah.
Yeah. You have to open it slowly. It sort of creaks.
Sure.
Yeah.
Do you want to follow up stealth roll or?
No, it's
Okay.
dark inside.
Okay.
And it is some distance away, and if you look around, no one seems to be taking much notice of you at all.
Got it. Now, is this entryway like out on the grounds?
It is
outside, technically.
It's on the outside. Chapels tend to be separate buildings, actually, away from the house.
That's what I was imagining.
Basically, it's one-room building. Now, where the chapels always were, would be, as you look in, there would be a lot of rows, a number of pews, at the end of which would be an altar with all the usual religious paraphernalia on there. Right, and it seems to look as if it should. Right, I've got to find some books for this. And it's not pitch black. There is sort of light coming through the window, so it's dark in there, and it's quiet.
I don't have it written down on my character sheet, but I imagine like a small, portable flashlight is something that really might have.
Yep. It is as I described it. It looks like a chapel.
Okay. Well, I would like to.
Go on.
Oh yeah, I'd just like to give it a once over, especially like around the altar. Inspect the any books or Bibles that are about.
Are there any
really
Bibles in the you have pews and then you have those.
You have Bible. If you go near where the door, there's the usual pile of prayer books. Church of England, as in fairly bog standard. Very ornate, not your typical ones you get in churches, as in these ones are, printed for the house. So they go with the house. And as you wander around, you go to the altar, and the altar, if you lift, it has a proper crucifix, which is the usual. I think it's usually gold crucifix, definitely antique, definitely part of what it's supposed to be, hallmarked, and same with the candlesticks. There's a chalice on there. If you smell it, it smells of wine.
Okay.
Your nose is better than most humans. Yeah, it smells of wine. Wine's seeped into its metal, basically. So
does it seem recently used, or is it like an old?
It's old. It's
okay,
not used.
Okay.
And if you go, if you look under the altar itself, it's basically a solid stone. Now, how we?
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah. what you're going to do with? Are you going to take everything off the altar and see what it's like, or are you just going to leave it as it is?
Yeah, I'm actually going to really kind of give the altar a good combing, I guess you could say.
You're basically going to take everything off.
Yeah, I'll take it off. Tap at the stone, see if
Can we note where we put everything so we can put it back?
Yeah, you certainly can do. Yeah, you take all the stuff off. You take the thing off. The top it is a solid stone. Was it altar? Well carved. And the surface has rusty marks on it at one end, approximately in the middle, as in how close are you going to sniff or touch it or taste it?
Pretty close. Yeah,
it's blood.
Okay.
And as you're tapping it, you find there's actually one part of it sort of moves slightly, as if it's hinged.
I will see if I can pry it open.
After a little trying, you find a way of opening it. It's a well balanced door. Because you were tapping it, it should have moved in. You find that at the other end you can easily open it, and there is actually an opening in there, in which there is another cloth, a dagger, and another chalice.
Thank you.
And it looks as old. It looks as if it's always been there. E.g.,
are there any?
Go on.
Is there any kind of device or symbol on the dagger or the cloth or the chalice? Any of them?
They're not dusted. They're all well used and clean.
Okay.
It should fit over the altar.
Got it.
The alternative service, I think.
I'm trying to find, and it is covered in symbols. Strangely, not the upside down cross, but including pentangles. I'm trying to find. Oh, I know where it is. Pentangles and a number of symbols which you do not recognise.
Can you make anything of this, Sabine?
Do you want me to roll?
I would on your occult. I'm just trying to think. Yeah, I could never find it when I need it.
Do you want occult and perception?
No, intelligence, because it's a matter of working out. Got you.
Oh, that's even better.
Oh, good.
So /R.
And then as you would normally do it.
Okay. D10s, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
Exclamation mark. Number of D10s.
No exclamation mark. It's a.
Oh, no, it doesn't need it. Oh.
No.
That's all right.
Oh no.
One.
Well, that's something at least.
That'll be enough. You won't get too much of significance. Some of them are. Some of them are fairly obvious. There is symbols which are very similar to the vampire. You know, as in the Camarilla. They have been, as in the Camarilla one, but they have been turned upside down. They're certainly not, but they're not Sabbat. As in,
okay.
There are no symbols to do with Sword of Cain on there. There are pentangles. There is if you look right at the bottom, and it is almost hidden. There is a black circle with an upside down 5-pointed star in it, and that's at the front and at the back. You can't quite put your finger on where you've seen that symbol before. But it is something. The top is of the actual thing is stained, or has been cleaned in the past. And they are, if you look carefully, it has a few small puncture marks in it around where you'd think someone would be lying.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Yeah. And the chalice smells clean, but would have had blood in it.
This is where I wish I had made the Toreador character who had Spirit's touch.
Yep.
This is where I wish I was my other character so I could start smoking.
But I will instead have to be use the wits of my Bruja investigative reporter.
Yes. It looks. You can guess what it looks like.
Yeah.
Except it isn't. It's not what you would call as in Satanists. It's something else. Something else very close. It's similar to it, but they said the only thing that's inverted is the symbol of Camarilla. And that was it.
That is strange.
And that was it. Black circle with the 5 pointed star in it. That's Sabrina's.
So it's like anti-Camarilla, but not
Sabbat. Yeah. Again, it lacks any symbols to do with was it religion? It seems to be more as in human religion.
Right.
You get the feeling it's older than that. Far
Can I
older.
get my sketchbook out and do a quick sketch of
You
this?
certainly can.
Oh please, yeah.
Because I don't think we should take it with us.
No.
But yeah, I will make a sketch of it
House.
and a note of where it was found.
Yep. Down. And it's
I
a.
suggest we get out of here before anyone notices that we've been in.
Yep.
Yes. I carefully
Place everything
try
back.
to
Yeah.
put everything back as best as I think I found it, and
Yep.
and we scuttle out of here and replace the lock and replace everything.
Yep. Yeah, the lock's easy to do, but once you've unlocked it, you can relock it again. It'll click again.
Yeah.
Problem with the big heavy locks is they really are very poor at what they do. If it'd been a modern
Right.
lock, it would have probably screwed you totally.
Yeah.
Which is it.
Well, I mean, big locks just mean that you can see what you're doing.
Yep.
Well, I wouldn't say that was enlightening. I'm now more confused than ever.
Yeah, as you're wandering the gardens back out again, you notice a car leaving. Because you were inside, you probably missed it coming. A car leaving at speed.
Do we see who's in it?
No, you basically, all you see it's lights going down the drive, as in it's a country drive, so you can see it sort of disappearing into the night, and it isn't hanging around,
Got it.
and it's going away from the house.
Was it a car we saw parked in the drive before, or coming from
No.
the house, or?
You didn't see it. You basically were distracted enough in the chapel not to hear it come in.
Got it.
And who's ever been there has been very quick, been in and gone out, basically.
I mean, we could go and see if Odie and Ivan saw anything.
Yeah. Let's
They might have been keeping an eye on visitors.
right.
I saw a car going away.
Yeah, let's go back in
Yep.
to the house.
And yeah, you sort of go back in, and there seems to be bump into the servant. Ah, there you are. The master would like to see you.
Oh,
I'll lead the way, I suppose.
Yes, indeed. Follow me. And he sort of guides you through, and takes you to the library. Opens the door. I have found him, master. And Sir Henry said, just wave his hand. Go. Come in. All I can say is thank you for coming. Nothing sinister. Please will you sit and we can talk.
Alright.
If you hadn't noticed, we've just had a visitor.
We saw the car leave.
Yes. If I remember rightly, it's a Mr. Lucien Quatermain. Does the name sound familiar to yourself?
I look at Sabine. Yeah. Well, at least the Quatermain does.
I think it was it Sabrina and a certain was it Marcus certainly should know him because he certainly knows you.
Oh, that was a while ago.
I do believe it was in Berlin during the time of the false cane.
Yes.
And
I'll come here. Come here. It's a very long way from Berlin.
he sort of goes into his pocket, draws out a very familiar vial. Now, as far as Billy, this is the first time you've seen this. It's basically a vial of what looks like blood. It is very red, and it's still liquid even now, which is unusual for blood. It hasn't gone. How do you say? Into a lump yet, and it hasn't separated. Right. He said, "This blood. It seems that he bought it off you, Sabrina, and Dirk, Mr. Voigt, in Berlin."
Indeed.
Interesting small world, isn't it? And you apparently got this from the false king himself.
Yes, it was an exceptionally dull church meeting in which he tried to get everyone to believe that he was indeed Cain, although that's clearly not the case, as that blood will prove.
Did you actually find anything about this blood? If you don't mind me asking. Because, how do you say, we've sort of come by it, and any little information about it would be very useful.
That's literally all I know about it, is that that's where it came from.
Did it have any...
They, at the meeting, they wanted people to ingest it as a show of loyalty to the false Cain.
As you said, it's small.
But that didn't seem like a wise thing to do, so...
As always.
Took a sample.
Yeah, from what I gathered, you weren't meant to take it. And you had little trouble in a cafe, I believe. Mr. Quatermain, was it said, someone got boiled. And Dirk, Mr. Voigt, helped.
So what's your interest in it? It's a mere trinket of somebody who was lying about who they were.
Oh, we always have interest in, was it little trinkets? But as from what I gathered, there is something else in there. I said something that doesn't fit. It's more than just...
People who took it did exhibit some quite strange behaviour, but...
Indeed.
Yeah. It didn't appear to be a drug of any kind, so what the cause is, don't know.
Oh, we'll find out.
Not a scientist.
He smiles. You don't always have to be a scientist to find things out. Science is how you say... He sort of flips it in the air and catches it in the hands. Can be, how you say, a little limited. There are other methods to, how you say, analyse this. And while I have you here, I have arranged for your transport back to the club in London for tomorrow night. After all, as soon as you get that job done, the sooner you can leave.
Excellent.
It should be an interesting trip. After all, what you said was a little worrying. Manifestations of, how you said, creatures?
Yes.
So, and did you like your wander around the garden?
It's a lovely place.
It is always a shame I can never see it in the day. My butler has told me it is a very, how you say, well kept garden. Though this time of year it can be a tad, how you say, cold and not in its full glory. One of the curses we have to live with. He smiles. So I think I am going to retire for the evening, and I thank you for being candid about this blood. And Mr. Quatermain was a very happy chap after the exchange.
Was.
He smiles. Do you think he would have really volunteered this blood and given to me? And he laughs and walks out.
I didn't assume so. I just wonder what he got in exchange. Well, perhaps we should retire also.
Yes.
So I think, unless there's, let's go back upstairs and I think once we're behind like a closed door, I then turn to Sabine and like, okay, who's this Quatermain guy?
Sabine will just put a finger to her lips, and then she's going to check the room again because they watched us in the garden. I don't know if they saw us go to the chapel, but he said about the garden. So I'm feeling paranoid. So can I check the room, please?
You check the room. Do you open the door just to see in the hallway?
I'll watch the hallway while she's checking the room.
Well, as you open the door, two figures fallen into the room. Odie and Co. They were leaning on the door. They just looked at you with a smile.
I picked them up. Get in here, you two.
Well, it sounded interesting what you were about to talk about.
Well, you can listen from the comfort of inside the room for a change.
He sort of whispers something to Odie. Ivan whispers something to Odie. Odie disappears out of the door.
All right.
And Ivan says, he'll sit outside the door.
Good.
And, how you say, was it, make funny noises. if anybody comes near.
Yeah.
And they're still in civvies.
Yeah, I figured.
And he sort of sits down. So, did you like your trip into the garden?
How many people saw us?
Then he saw you went out.
Did you see anybody watching us?
No. They seem to be more interested in the visitors.
That's good.
Did you see what happened to the visitor? Did he leave alive?
The other visitor did. The ones that
The other visitor?
Yeah, the ones that've been here all the time.
Oh, Mikhail.
No, he's gone. The other visitor.
Well, the other visitor.
Yeah.
Right.
The one you weren't meant to know about.
Exactly.
I'm confused.
Well, you did know about him. They mentioned it at the start.
Did you catch a glimpse of them?
Well, I can't remember if you... we weren't there. I think out of character he wasn't there at the blood exchange, was he? Odie and co had disappeared, so I don't know. Yeah, we just saw this gentleman come in, sort of have a discussion with Sir Henry, hand over a vial, and Sir Henry handed over a girl, and they sort of disappeared quickly.
Okay, well, good. Then that was what I was just about to discuss.
Yeah.
Yes, we knew that there was this missing Quartermain girl. I didn't realize they already knew a Quartermain from elsewhere.
That was right.
Yeah, it was a chap we met in Berlin, so Sir Henry's obviously blackmailed him using a member of his existing family into giving him the blood.
And this Quartermain, he is kindred.
Yes.
Okay.
The girl's mortal.
Oh, he's mortal.
No, the girl
No.
was mortal.
The girl was
think
mortal.
it's
Yeah.
his bloodline, his family that are left and that are still human, I think.
Right. All right. That's. I'm up to speed then. Yeah. I thought. Yes. Quartermain. Mr. Quartermain is. Lucian is kindred. Is
Lydia is not.
Lydia. Okay, it's Lydia Quartermain. Yeah. Is mortal. I assumed she was mortal. But. Okay.
We should have really told you about her, but we thought you had enough on your plate with Mikhail wandering around. And she didn't seem important.
She is to somebody.
Well, as she said, you were having enough problems with Mikhail about. Evil bastard he is.
Yeah.
And are we going... Go on.
So is Lucian... This makes me wonder if Lucian has strings with the these PCI police. If those were... If they were sent by
him,
Lucian
yeah.
to track down his daughter or descendant,
Yeah.
whatever the relation is there.
Quite possibly.
Well, same surname, it sort of applies to the same family. Though Odie and me don't have have separate surnames, and we're family. He sort of knocks on the door, grabs hold of Odie and sort of drags him in, and closes the door.
All right. Well.
So what do you want to do now?
I want to get out of here.
Well, there's nothing for miles around.
Well,
Yeah.
I just mean that tomorrow evening can't come soon enough.
Do you want us to sit here and guard you through the day?
It
Yes,
would
please.
put my mind at ease. Yeah.
Okay, just get everybody into the same room and we'll watch.
Thank you.
At this point, I'm going to have a go and call it a little break. I'm going to have to get a cup of tea. I can gather one of you's
All
got.
right.
So I'll be about.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So if you just go and get a drink, then we'll do the next bit afterwards. And I'll be back in probably 5-10 minutes. Okay.
Sounds good.
You know. Interesting. I mean, are you still there?
Oh, sorry. I was just about to head off. What's Go ahead.
Oh no, it's okay. Yeah, I'll go and get a drink and then we can come back. It's okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I was
Alright.
gonna go take a break myself. All right.
Alright, bye.
Yeah. See ya.
Right, where are we? Oh, that's better.
I'm back.
I'm back.
I'm back.
Yeah, I just got my tea. Right, I just now got to do the next one. So it's... Oh dear. Yep. As there's only two, you won't have to take, was it Suki aside? You can listen to the vision.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. You go in. You go into the night, into the day. You do your usual sort of. Was it disappear? Was it to disappear? Was it into the sleep of the dead? Watched by Odie and Ivan. And Sabrina, and the day you have yet another, was it disturbing vision? The vision goes, you find yourself running down a bricked walled passage, much like a sewer. Every few while there are torches, rushlights that are actually sort of on metal brakes, so you're sort of running down a lit one.
Yeah.
You seem to hear a roar from behind you. It's not like a lion, it's a roar of something that's inhuman. And you can hear scraping of knives on the walls behind you. So as if something's scraping something sharp and metallic down the wall. And you're running.
Okay.
And as you run, you come to a junction, you turn left. And you just continue like this, and you start to figure out that you're actually in a maze, and this thing is behind you, is getting closer and closer and closer, and you turn a corner to find yourself falling into blackness. And as you're falling, you're seeing, the light of the passage sort of disappear into the distance, and you wake up with a start. You actually physically open your eyes for a short while, and then you go back to where you were.
When I opened my eyes briefly, was it night?
No, it's
I know.
the room was lighter than usual, and by the fact that you went straight back to the sleep of the dead. So whatever it was it sort of startled you.
Okay.
Of course, you know what happens when you hit the floor in a dream where you fall.
Yeah, you throw your arms out because. Yeah.
Or the old story goes, you die.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. It's a bit late for you. Yep. And nothing else happens in the day. You wake up the next day. You're down 1 blood point.
All right.
And any willpower you've used has come. 1 willpower comes back. And you wake up. Odie and Co are there. Everybody's still in one piece. There's nothing sinister that's happened to anybody during the day. Odie and Co say no one sort of visited you, just left you well alone. And basically there's a knock on the door, and Odie opens it, and there's a servant there who sort of bows. The master would like to see you in the library before you go.
Of course.
Yeah.
We'll be right down.
Thank you, sir. And he sort of bows and sort of disappears. That's better. So I was drinking a bit last night. Then went to Second Life. Just talking to people, so my throat's sort of going. And yeah, do you all go down to the library?
Yeah,
En masse.
Yeah.
Okay, and Sir Henry's there, and he says, "Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Nice to see you. I have arranged that the journey should start fairly quickly. I do hope you agree with that.
Yeah?
Yes, that's fine.
That's all right. I would like to remind you, is it that you are there to find out what's going on? Mikhail and Theodore will be nowhere near the club, so you'll be assured that they will not disturb you. They should have actually left London by now. If they haven't, our own masters will punish them, and believe me, that will not be a pleasant experience for them. And so, I wish you luck in your task. He hands over a card. If you find anything, just ring this number. It will come to this mansion, and a message will be passed to myself.
Okay.
Wonderful.
That's
We'll
all
be in
right. Yep. I hope things go well for you.
Thanks for your hospitality.
It is welcome, and as we said, we apologise for the the childish games of Mikhail and Theodore.
Well, that's not your fault.
No, but they should know better, or they will know better in future. Goodbye, ladies and gentlemen.
Goodbye, and thank you for your
Yep.
Mr. Donovan said, for your hospitality.
You're most welcome. And you are taken out into the hall, and there are cars waiting for you outside, or a car waiting for you outside, plus a second car.
All right. Yeah.
You get all into the same car?
Yeah, if we all fit.
Yeah, you all fit.
All right.
Yeah, stick together.
Yep, Odie and Co will sit in the front and annoy the driver.
Sounds excellent.
Yeah, and you basically drive off into the night. Exactly like last time, they will do a very circumventive route. So it will take you about an hour and a half to do it. As you leave the house, the nearest village is a mile to 2 miles away. You really were in the middle of nowhere. You basically in house, fields, and that was it. And
Yeah.
it's about nearest village, and it's about just south of London. So about another 2 miles, you start to get back into conurbation again, the suburbs, and then you just go again a different route than you came into. They double back on themselves. They stop. Basically make sure that no one's following them, etc. They're being very careful. And you get to Mayfair. Now, this is where things get a little strange. They seem to be having a problem finding the club. Every few while the cars stop. One driver gets out and goes and talks to the other one. Then gets back in, and they drive off again. And it's about half an hour before they actually suddenly realise they find the back alley again. The same alley. And they seem... The driver, as they opens the door, looks a little bit confused. And he says, I have to apologise for that. For some reason, we had a little difficulty finding place.
Why don't you just take us to, and I'll, if I can recall the name of the hotel that we stayed at near the club.
We were told to take.
Yeah.
We were told to take you directly to the club.
If you're having problems, don't worry about it.
You're here.
Wait.
It's
Yeah, it's very familiar. It's the same back door you entered the club last time.
Oh, well, then we're here.
Was it like we went past where it should be and it wasn't there?
You wouldn't. For us, you in the car between your they seem to be going round in circles and seem to be going past the street every few while and stop.
Oh, okay. So
as if
we realize that we're here.
Yeah, you know you were here, and you know you've been here for the last half an hour. But these guys seem to be a little confused.
It's all right, gents. We're here. We're fine from here.
That's fine. And that should be the door to the club.
Can I
Go on.
just check? Is there... I've got a feeling something weird's going on, and it's not affecting us because of what we are, but some reason it's affecting their perception.
Mm-hmm.
Can I try an occult roll to try and work out what it is, or something like that? I just have whatever it is. I don't know if it's some sort of cloaking type thing or something like that.
The nearest you can think is an obfuscate.
Yeah, but something like that, but bigger for the whole building, sort of thing.
If you make an intelligence, do you have vampire lore, or it wouldn't be a cult because it's a bit odd. This because it's you don't have any laws as such. You see, the only thing you'd think it would be a discipline of sorts. Just trying to think. Actually, do make an occult roll.
Okay. Just occult.
Make intelligence and because you're trying to remember something.
Okay. So slash.
So I don't think there's anything there that it's the nearest you're going to get. I think that might be more than enough. It definitely isn't anything occult. As far as you know, as far as the occult, there are no such things as spells that could do that. But there are some very powerful disciplines that can do that. Some of the more powerful obfuscates you've heard can actually cloak whole buildings or make buildings difficult to find.
Okay.
And that seems to be the nearest thing you can think of.
So effectively, the building has been obfuscated.
But you're not affected by it.
No. But it only works on people, not vampires.
So it's
Well, it's not the first time they're...
Does it work on ghouls? I'm wondering if Mr. Dunbar might struggle to get to work this morning.
Odeon Co. didn't see anything strange. They were like you. If anything, was it a bit mystified why the guys were going past it every few while.
Right, okay.
Perhaps if you
But
already
I
know...
think
Go on.
I think we established Mr. Dunbar isn't a ghoul though, is he?
Right,
He's something else.
that's true. But yeah, as you said, Odie and Ivan aren't really affected by it.
No.
But yeah, perhaps if you just already know where it is, then that's enough to circumvent the effect.
There is that. These were different drivers than the ones that took you away from this place.
Well,
I can't say I'm pleased to be back here.
neither am I. But let's...
I mean...
If, as you're standing there, the cars, the drivers get in and drive off almost straight away.
That's fine. Shall we go to the hotel? Because we need a plan before we just walk back in.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Odie and Co. Yep, everybody agrees with that.
So, I think Billy reaches deep into his pockets and and pays for a night at the fancy hotel.
Yeah.
Probably his most of his liquid cash for the month.
Well, we can always ask our Assamite friend to pay. He gets paid well for what he does, I imagine.
Yeah, but between you can get enough money for the room.
All right.
And Odie and Co. can really do it in style, with lots of change.
That's right.
And newly was its crispy new notes.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, or nicely. Was it? Yeah,
Is
including.
the ink still wet?
No, one of them. One of them still got a silver. Was it a note clip on it?
That's right.
Oh, right.
Nice.
Oh yeah, Odie and Co. are good at lifting things. Yep. So, are you going to hold up in the room for the start of the evening?
Right.
Yeah, we've got to decide what we're going to tell Mr. Dunbar, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good idea. So these, as near as we can tell, all of these people are at cross purposes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, Dunbar.
I mean, here's a crazy idea.
Mm-hmm.
Do we still have the contact details for Lucian Quartermain? Because I'm pretty sure he gave us a card.
I'm sure he did.
Did Quartermain or the policeman?
The policeman we've got.
Quartermain in Berlin.
Oh.
Trying to remember
okay.
what he gave you. I think it would be a drop-off point. The policeman's would be a number.
Right.
It was
So we
Quartermain.
could make
Quartermain.
contact with Quartermain.
Yeah.
But it would take time.
It would take time. Quartermain would not be smart enough to use a number. I'm trying to remember if he did or not. Oh God, it's such a long time ago. Oh,
Yeah,
and I haven't got.
No, my thought was if we can get hold of.
You know he's here.
What do we want to do? That's the thing. I mean, I just have. I can't work out what's going on because everybody seems dodgy at this point.
Yep.
Um,
I don't think there's anybody who's been straight with you yet.
I mean, Sir Henry has obviously kidnapped Lydia and held her ransom to get this blood off Quartermain that he wants for some sort of nefarious purpose, which is to do with some sort of anti-Camarilla but not quite satanic organisation. Mr. Dunbar has a really shady club that has a pet Cthulhu in the basement.
right.
I mean, then there's Mikhail and Theodore, and ironically, Theodore isn't the problem right now.
Yeah, he's the lowest on our list of problems
Exactly.
right now. And he started out as the impetus for this whole scheme.
Let's just do something.
And we're still no closer to proving that we're not infernalists, and that was kind of the point of coming to London in the first place, but we still have an exceptionally peed off Justicar in Berlin who thinks that we skipped the country and there were a bunch of infernalists.
Well, we can take some comfort in the fact that the prince doesn't believe it completely herself. We have some prominent kindred, maybe not within the Camarilla itself, but some prominent kindred in the form of Sir Henry, that have given us shelter, to somewhat corroborate that. I have channels with which I can combat those rumors.
Of course I remember.
But I don't know how on the level Sir Henry is, because that chapel was dodgy. What we found in that box was not normal.
It seemed potentially infernally. Yeah. You're right. What were you about to say, Andrew?
No, I was just letting you carry on.
Okay.
I'm not going to remind you what else had happened, but...
Okay. Oh, dang it.
Yeah.
We've missed something, damn it.
You have.
No. Yeah,
you have.
I'm comb over my notes here.
Yeah, me too.
So...
and then we got the policeman who randomly turns up.
And someone else turns up and missed you.
And then the priest. Right?
Yeah, I've got no idea who that goes.
I'm sort of out of character, a little confused about. So there's Stephen Lenoir, but there's also the priest that.
Oh, Stephen Lenoir was to do with a gentleman to do with Marcus, who was
right.
The gentleman that stepped out of the shadows was another gentleman.
Okay.
Out of character, there was another visitation to the club when you were not there. And that's the clue.
Okay. And I know that Marcus also had a little rendezvous in the park with what I assume to be a La Sombra priest.
Yes.
And that's not Stephen, though. That's a different...
That's one, from the description, that's the guy that stepped out of the shadows.
Okay.
That was because he had the large, heavy, jeweled, was it crucifix?
Right.
And literally stepped out the shadows and stepped back into it again.
Right, asked about the... Okay.
Yeah. And you didn't tell him a lot at the time.
Right.
I'm not going to remind you a third time about the visitors. You have to remember it. Oh, you also were watched going into the club by someone.
Yeah. Which I assumed was either the priest or maybe the police. I'm not sure.
So you're being watched.
All right.
What, now?
You don't know. You've only just come back into London.
Yeah, I assume people are... Well, maybe they can't watch the club anymore, actually, with the obfuscate thing.
That is an interesting thing. Odin and Co. excuse themselves and they sort of disappear.
Right.
And did we have something in terms of breakfast before we left?
No.
No, okay.
Right, shall we do that just in case things hit the fan later?
Sure.
And we can think whilst we eat.
Right.
Yep, so you're basically going hunting. Are you staying round Mayfair itself? Or are you going to go raid? Okay.
Yeah.
Wait. You can get 3 blood. How long are you going to hunt? A couple of hours? Or 3 hours?
Yeah, hour or two. Yeah.
A couple of hours.
Yeah.
I'm not doing poorly at all, but
It's best keep topped up just in case.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, you reckon it's now getting... Now it's 11, 12. It's now after midnight by the time you finished. And as you're hunting... yourself... Certainly was it... Billy will notice that any vampires that do spy you, as there are others there, tend to give you a look and sort of disappear quickly.
Oh, interesting.
And well, as far as Sabrina's concerned, that's nothing new. They just see Ravnos and run off and don't associate. So, but for you, it's something new.
Right.
You seem to be not the flavour of the month. They're not approaching you, but they were sort of. Some of them were sort of disappearing in the direction of what you would think is where, how you say, certain important vampires were.
Gotcha.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
We've been made by the prince, I think.
No, but worse, by the harpies.
Oh, fun.
Well, that's where I have some ins, or un-in. But I also don't think that my boss, as it were, would hesitate to throw me under the bus.
Oh great, you have a boss too. I don't have a boss, everyone else has a boss, it seems.
Yep, so, yeah, and as you come back, Odin come back at the same time after your hunt. And they sort of look a bit serious.
Alright, what did you find out?
You're not the flavour of the month. None of you are.
Tell me something I don't know. Everyone's been giving me more evils than I usually get.
Yep.
Why?
That rumour's still persisting. And the fact that they tried to find you, you weren't there.
Alright, give me a moment. I am going to call my the harpy that I work for. I don't know if we've ever detailed this person at all.
No, it doesn't matter. You could do, yeah, you call the harpy.
Okay.
You were going to write to them anyway. Remember what? Yeah. Yep. So, yeah, the harpy answers. Hello. Who is this?
Hi. It's Billy.
What the fuck have you done, Billy?
What the fuck
Yes?
are they saying I've done?
No. What the fuck have you done?
Nothing. I'm on a case. I'm digging up dirt for you.
I do hope so. If the stories are right, you're going to be tarred with the same, was it, same brush. You better come with a good story. That's the only way I can save you.
If I come out the other end of this, I think you will be the shining star for the next month or two.
Oh, good. Little advice. Keep your head down.
Yeah, I caught that. All right. Well,
I'll try to, how you say, put it around that you're working undercover to make sure at least I can get something out of you.
Thank you, and I'll try to keep my stink off of you here on out until I have something
I would.
concrete I can give you.
If you don't, I will throw you to the lions.
I would expect no less.
Goodbye. And puts the phone down quickly. Yep, something's shit hit the fan.
Yeah.
Big time.
All right.
The Prince is very interested in you now. Though
Well,
that won't be a problem to you, but that could be a potential problem for any Revenos.
Oh, good.
Yeah, you're independent, aren't you?
Yeah.
Okay, so what are you going
Well,
to?
Sabine will ask you, how did it go? I assume you like
Better than-
got in a phone box or something.
it's, yeah, probably. It's 97, so I think.
Yeah, it would be phone, but
yeah. It's better than I thought. Yes, seems I'm fully implicated with the rest of you, according to the rumors. My handler is going to try to keep them off of me, but I've got to come up with something at the end of this, something that they can use.
I don't get what everybody's looking for.
They're looking for.
I mean, I know they're looking for infernalists, but I mean, Dunbar's weird, and Sir Henry has a slightly creepy chapel. That's about as much as we know.
Right. I think the only way out is through. We need to find out what's going on with this club, and maybe that will clear our names. It's the only thing we have to go on right now, though.
Yeah.
The problem is, Sabine, is that in lieu of anything concrete, they're going to simply go with the current story, the current narrative that we're the Infernalists. There's nothing more that the Camarilla kindred like than to tear other people down, because it elevates them in the moment.
Especially people like me. I can't say I'm honestly surprised. So let's see what we can do.
What do we want to ask Dunbar?
I mean, do we need to ask him anything, or do we just
go in, guns blazing?
Yes. Well,
metaphorically speaking.
I mean, I was gonna say search the place, but where would we think? He was really cagey about that statue. I wonder if we try and pilfer that again. That's the only thing that is.
Got it.
Infernally. Because they really wanted that back.
How?
Just going to do something. I actually have images I can show you.
Oh, okay.
While you're doing that, I'm just changing the names. One, you'll see the other
I
one.
think we could try and sneak in and then have a good look round, but I don't know where to start looking for
Is that the role play?
proof of infernalism in that club.
That's the interesting thing.
Because everybody knows it's a sort of quirky occult type place, but maybe it's deeper than that. And
Though that makes it even more interesting. There are no occult symbols or anything in the building.
Right.
Yeah, just like the house.
At this point, I'm more of the opinion that Sir Henry and Mikhail and Theodore are the actual infernalists, and Dunbar is something else.
That was the symbol on bottom of the.
Okay.
That was the symbol.
Okay.
I actually remembered. I actually got it there. That's the symbol on bottom of the. Was it? Of the thing. It is a black circle with a upside down. Upside down. Was it a pentacle? Well, it's not really.
How quickly could we meet with your boss? What if we went to him and said that, look, we've been to Sir Henry's house in the country. That's where we went. We went we searched the place when they weren't looking. In the chapel, we found this, and here are my drawings.
We're gonna need something more concrete than that. We need something, incontrovertible, not rumor, not.
Ivan would point out there were lots of rooms in the club you couldn't get into,
Right.
including the basement.
What?
Including where?
The basement.
The basement.
Oh my god, all the visions came from the basement.
You're right.
Yeah, it's all got an underground feeling. The vision that I had earlier this morning was in a passage like a sewer. That's underground. The previous one.
I'm brilliant. I just suddenly realised I'm absolutely brilliant. Sorry.
Yeah. We've got to go to the basement. The previous one was somewhere damp and underground.
All
yeah,
right.
damp soil underground. Yeah, basement.
Okay, how do we get basement access?
I'm so stupid. I should have got that earlier. Well, if it's like some London townhouses, there's sometimes a separate servants' entrance to the downstairs basement area.
Okay, let's try that back entrance from the alley, maybe? Would it be near there?
Yeah. If it's...
Let's take a look.
Like, townhousey. Is that one?
That is the basically the entrance you go through is used as the tradesman's entrance, basically. But the room behind was a storage room.
Are there any stairs going down?
Not there, no.
Oh no, is it one of those with the downward stairs at the front?
But you haven't explored all of the doors downstairs yet.
Okay. Can we can we try and like duck in without anyone seeing us and have a good skulk round downstairs?
I've got an idea. Odie, Ivan?
They look at you, yep.
Why don't you do what you do best? Be a distraction.
Wait, they sort of disappear out, and in actually remarkably quick time reappear back in their full, was it clown cart things. Indeed.
Excellent.
I think we can keep...
Door?
Of course. But they only know us anyway. And we can keep them busy.
Yeah. Buy
Yeah,
as much time as you can.
Oh, we can
Keep everyone entertained as much as you can. If you see that statue again, swipe it.
Yes, will do.
Or anything like it.
Yeah, that was the only one.
Yeah, if you see it again, grab hold of it. But do be careful.
Oh, we'll disappear as soon as it gets a bit dodgy.
Yeah, and If you see anyone who looks shifty, liberate their wallet.
He sort of pulls out, what, like this guy? Nice gold, was it a money clip? Puts it back again. And they sort of disappear out of the door.
Break a leg, guys.
Ah! Followed by
All
laughter.
right, to the back,
Right.
to the back entrance then.
Hang on, let's give them 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Give them time for the show to get started, and everyone to be thoroughly distracted, and then we'll go. Yeah, we'll give it 5 minutes and then
Yeah.
go.
Was that, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, after 5 minutes, as you sort of have to, as you sort of walk round the back, you notice that there is a little bit of mayhem at the front of the club at the moment. So whatever Odie and Ivan are doing, they are causing, how you say, some entertainment.
Great.
If anything, sometimes Odie's a little faster than you expect, as someone's trying to chase him.
Well, I mean, I'm sure if it gets a bit leery, they'll just call the police, and then the police can decide who gets arrested for drunk and disorderly.
If, yep. Is it? Well,
All right.
yeah, so they are keeping the front of the club nicely busy at the moment.
And yeah, so let's try the back door.
Yeah. Is it open?
It's unlocked.
Ooh. That's
Can we hear anything?
worrying.
Not inside, no.
Is there a
Alright.
light on, or is it dark?
It's dark.
Okay. I will turn on my tiny torch and lead the way.
Okay. It's like last time, it's a largest storeroom, there's doors going off. The one you know that goes into the main club. The other one seems to go somewhere else. Which is
Well, that's the one we want.
If we look on the floor,
Mhm.
if it's a storeroom, is it dusty?
It looks like there are. It's well swept.
Oh, that's a shame.
It,
I was hoping there'd be a sort of corridor dust-free to lead us to the right door.
No.
All right.
no, whatever. Whoever does this, because you'll find some boxes of, was it stuff that's waited to go up, includes champagne and actually some quite nice champagne, all the bits and pieces in there.
I might liberate one of those on the way out.
Yeah.
We've earned it.
Reward. Yeah, a reward for Odie and Ivan for a job well done.
Yep. And you try the other door.
Yes.
It actually leads to what you'd think would be classified as downstairs, as in where the kitchens and the other places are. So it's basically a passage, and there are doors either side, and you can hear basically people working at the far end, basically.
Okay. So yeah, we'll try these doors.
The other door leads to somewhere familiar, was it a club, into the club itself.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the door to the basement probably won't be anywhere near the kitchen, I wouldn't think. Because they'll want to get to it without disturbing the people.
Oh, okay. So I thought I so there's no other doors besides the one.
There's just these two. There are two. One you went out into the thing. The other one goes into the under. It's a slightly larger door, but you've got to put pallets and boxes through,
Okay.
and that's
Shall we
where
try that one?
that goes towards the
Yeah.
kitchen.
Okay.
Oh.
And there's people there we can hear.
The only thing you would have in the kitchen would be down to the cellar. Afterward, if they have a wine cellar, it makes sense to have the access to the cellar near near to the wine cellar.
Yeah.
Yeah, that might be
we'll
the way we have to go.
Yeah, we'll try and sneak our way through them.
Yep.
Yeah.
As you go out of the door into the thing, you sure you heard a click behind you?
Shit. Like it locked behind us?
No, that door's open.
Have we been locked in?
No. You're going to the main door?
Mm-hmm.
That's locked.
Or the...
The door to the outside's been locked.
Oh. Gotcha.
So we can't get out of the club?
Hmm.
Alright, well I think...
Well, they know we're here.
To a cellar is our best bet at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you sneaking, or are you just going to walk through? Or lock the part?
Do you know what? Just walk through. They know we're here. They locked us in.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, you walk. You go down the passage. You walk down there. There are.
Like, we know what we're doing, and I'll get my notebook out and pretend that I'm doing a survey.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, they sort of look up, sort of. Oh, okay, and carry on what they're doing. It's basically cooks.
We're not paid enough to care.
Exactly.
It's late at night, and they're still preparing food. Though
what are they?
Finger, as you say, finger food, not anything substantial.
Okay. All right.
And it's basically going out with trays of champagne in glasses, and it sort of put in a dumbwaiter and sort of disappears upstairs.
They've probably got a soiree going on upstairs.
Yeah.
Some sort of party.
Mm. You sort of someone sort of bumps in. Oh, I said, "Oh, excuse me, please. I need to get past."
Oh, sorry.
Of course.
That's all right. It sort of disappears down the passage and.
Busy night.
Yeah. They're having another
party.
Yeah. As usual. I don't get paid enough for this. Disappears, comes back with a tray full of chicken breasts, and goes over and starts preparing them.
Yeah, we'll just slide past them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you look around the kitchen, you will see there's basically what you think would be a cellar door, and every few while it's open and someone goes down the cellar and then switches light and comes back up with bottles of wine.
Well, let's give it a look.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you go down the stairs of the cellar. Basically, he's left the light on, and it is basically what it is. It's just a wine cellar, and that's all that's there.
Are we sure?
Hmm.
I'm gonna take a closer look around.
Yeah, I would.
As you go around the wall, or through the shelves of the ones on the wall, one goes click, and slowly opens into another space behind.
All right. I pull out the flashlight again and.
And a familiar voice says, "Oh, do please come in. Less of the pretense." And it seems to be Mr. Dunbar.
Okay. I turn the flashlight off and
Yeah.
step in.
Okay, it is a large room. It's a very similar altar shroud than you found in the church, with the chalice and a knife on a stone altar. By the altar stands, was it Dunbar's, was it secretary, and Mr. Dunbar's in the middle of the floor. And basically around there are torches. It's a large, what you would think would be a temple, and right in the middle of the floor is that symbol, sort of inlaid into the floor. And near the altar there's also what you think is a pit or an old well, and you can smell from that there seems to be a carnal smell of blood, flesh, and was it putrid, something rotting.
Okay.
Do come in. How do you like the handiwork of your friends Mikhail and Theodore?
This is their doing?
Of course. Not of our doing.
Well, why are you creeping around here in the dark?
Mostly I can. And it seems you have done us a service. Because last night both Mikhail and Theodore, for some strange reason, said they were leaving. Not coming back. As for one, I never look a gift horse in the mouth. As you said, they don't seem to want to come back.
So all this was their room?
Of course, not mine. Well, it was at the start. Then I got more enlightened. Theirs was a false god. Do come in.
There's no way on God's green earth I'm going in that room.
I'll step in.
I'm staying at the door.
Okay. As you step in, to either side of there are two very large humanoid figures who seem to be not there. Where their faces are, they have mouths full of teeth. Later, they don't have a face; they just have a big mouth. They have arms which end in, in very sharp, what you think metallic claws, and their backs are covered in, like tentacles, each ending in a various, evil-looking hook, spike, or sword-like thing on them.
Okay.
And you smell.
As this conversation is unfolding, I'm going to be slowly, as putting blood into into boosting my physical attributes.
They seem, you smell the same sulfur, but they, like the other one, they don't seem to be there. They seem to be on the edge. And Sabrina, your back of your neck is now, your hairs are bristling. As if there's something behind you.
I'm not gonna turn round, I'm just gonna turn my head so I can see in my peripheral vision.
It's like what you saw before, and it's directly behind you.
Are these your pets, Dunbar?
No, they're someone else's pets. But I would come in, Sabrina. It would be far more comfortable for you.
What would?
The thing is getting closer to you.
Step in. There's no getting out of this.
Yeah, it stops at the door. How you might say it's to make the negotiations easier for your payment, for your service. You'll guess what's about to happen, don't you?
I've got an idea.
I am prone to lie. You do know that, don't you? Especially to your kind. But I can also be generous and, how you say, show mercy. You would like to walk out here alive.
Well, as alive as we can get.
You're right, I had forgotten. You're already dead. He just laughs. So, we thank you for your service. We're not going to pay you. We never had...
We...
The secretary speaks. None of your business. Who we are. It never was, and it will never be. Do I make myself clear? Or do you want me to demonstrate? Or would you like me to demonstrate what we do for people that ask too many questions? And she smiles.
No demonstrations necessary. This is all quite dramatic and demonstrating enough, especially the smell from that well over there.
Yes, Mikhail and was it Theodore lack style, but your kind always did. Especially those that sell their souls to devils or demons.
Is that what you've done?
What did I say about asking too many questions? But I will say that Mikhail and Co. have sold their souls to the devils. They are what they thought they were. Except their devils live on Earth. Or their demons, to be more exact. Would you like to know their names?
If it would help us clear ours, then yes.
She sort of walks up towards you. The only name we know is Bali. I'll spell it. B-A-A-L-I. Bali.
No. B-A-A-L-I?
Yeah. So, please go. We'll be merciful to you. And take your 2 clowns with you. And as you notice, the 2 things either side of you start to sort of solidify. And one of them scrapes a tentacle across the wall. And Sabrina hears the familiar scrape. Oh, was it?
Yeah, leave now. Leave fairly quickly.
Right.
Yeah, the thing behind you has disappeared.
Yeah.
And as you leave into the cellar, you hear, was it laughter from behind you?
Do you know what? I don't even care.
Yep, and strangely, you just go straight out. Yeah.
We just go out the front and collect Ivan and Odie.
Yeah,
on the
let's
way.
go out the front because at least they can't do anything if we're out the front.
That's just true. And as you go out, two men follow you. They are very large. How you say? They don't quite fit the normal humans. And they're sort of making sure that you're going out of there.
Yeah.
And one of them, and
No, I have no plan coming back here.
one of them, sort of, you hear a scrape of something down the side of metallic on wood. They're being subtle. Yeah. And they sort of escort you out.
Is there a way I can work out what they actually are?
No, some might know what they are, but the fact they didn't exist in this world at the start, and the fact now you think they've just changed shape. And you are now pushed out onto the street, and they just stand there looking at you.
Yeah,
And
I'm
I-
leaving.
And we'll leave it at that point. Was I think that's a dramatic point to leave it at,
Yeah.
because
Oof.
to,
Like,
I think there was
wipe a little blood sweat from my brow.
as he said, I was thinking what was the twist I could do, and I'm thinking you'd actually done what they want them to do, but they, as he said, they had no intention of paying you at any point.
Well,
You've got all the proof. The problem is, you know where all the proof is. How are you going to get it to who the people that need it? Is the question. Okay, did you enjoy that?
Yeah.
yeah. Before I forget, in her sort of when we get somewhere else, Suki is going to get her art book out, and she is literally going to draw everything she can remember.
Yes.
Whilst it's fresh in her mind and where it is and everything.
Yes. Yeah, just make a note in your notes, because there are other things that are going to happen before that. But I thought, I'm being a bit mean now, but I thought, well, yeah, it is getting to the point. It's been a bit pedestrian until that point. So yeah, there'll probably be, next one should be hopefully a month's time. At some point we might actually have a third player for, was it Over the Edge? A new player. Super, but that's just pushed back at the moment until I've got time to do it. If I actually get a proper 9 to 5 job, I should have time to do things again. But at the moment, this job for the last month has literally drained everything I've got.
Yeah.
I'm coming home and going to sleep. I've got to go back to the doctors again. Something's going wrong again. Yeah, well, it's like getting a job. I get so far, I then get disheartened, and I just stop again.
Yeah.
So yeah. Bear with me here. It's done it again. Has it done it again?